Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2 rolls off the tongue. Tell you what, that game is coming. I'm coming. My blood's red. I'm coming. This is coming down the pike. It looks tremendous in many ways as a Warhammer fan. Now, I've actually been lucky enough to actually play this game. I got to play it for about 45 minutes, 50 minutes. It was part of Summer Game Fest. And it was basically because, like, I don't think I was supposed to play that long, but they just didn't stop me. So I just kept going. And so I've gotten a good amount of time with the game at this point. What we played was a pretty standard demo, nothing too shocking or amazing. There weren't any crazy cool set pieces quite on this scale. Like this level right there that they just showed, that's the one I played through. So it was a safe demo, but I've seen what it has to offer, at least in the single player side of things, in an early, pretty flat mission. In my humble opinion, there is a lot of stuff, if you're a Warhammer fan, to get excited for here. I mean, they've done their homework. They've done the little bitty touches. The regular foot soldiers, is there like a shot where I could point to it? Like as you go through these levels, there will be regular soldiers, just regular humans standing nearby. And they'll see you walk up and your crew roll up. And they're all like, oh my God, it's a Space Marine. Yeah, right here. So all of these guys who are like, nipple height, maybe, they're all in awe of you and that they get the chance to fight next to you. And they'll kind of stop and look at you and like kind of shake each other. And it's like spotting a celebrity. They keep losing it. They get super excited seeing you. And in a lot of cases, a lot of the missions that I played were tied up in like you saving some of those guys that were stranded or couldn't escape the Tyranids. And so it was kind of cool to see all of that. Yeah, I did myself too if I walked in with a Space Marine. Yeah, we all would. But like those little touches have been added. They've done those little things that make you feel like you're actually playing as a Space Marine and saving regular soldiers that have never seen one of you before. So there's that. The little touches are there. In terms of combat, I think it's fine. It wasn't as good as I was hoping for. The finishers are cool, but frankly, the current balance of blood effects to gore was a little off. So the blood effects just covered up all the gore. So it wasn't quite as satisfying as I was hoping for. But that's something that they can tune. As for like these horde sequences, I played through a couple of these as well, where there's just tons and tons of Tyranids coming on screen. I never had any frame drops, never had any issues with that. The game ran super great, and it again felt very like World War Z levels at times, where like they're climbing on each other up a concrete wall to try and get to you, and you toss a grenade at the base of them and it blows up and the whole kind of tower of Tyranids falls and collapse underneath. So it has that same vibe. I think in terms of how it plays very similar to like your standard kind of Gears of War like spin-off from the 360 generation. It plays very similar to the original game, honestly. And that's not a bad thing, but it definitely does not feel like a huge evolution or like they're doing a lot of really unique or novel things here. But it just feels like a solid but safe game in terms of gameplay. But for Warhammer fans, that's where people are going to get really into it and really excited. But a lot of the missions are stuff like this, where you're just chewing through waves and waves of Tyranids. Now, as I said, I played the game for like 50 minutes, something like that. And in that time, we went through a couple of missions, but already I was starting to feel a little bit of fatigue from the enemies, because we basically only fought the basic little runners of Tyranids and then the a couple like bigger brutes that might spawn with them occasionally, but really not that many. It was pretty samey, and it could be that they really improved that later in the game and it's just the first hour or two that play like that. I'm not sure. But that was immediately a concern. Within like half an hour, I was like, okay, are we shaking this up at all? You know, already it was starting to get a little old. So I hope that there's a lot more enemy variety. We have seen in videos like this, we see more. We've seen screenshots and stuff with some Thousand Suns, like Rubric Marines and Terminators and stuff. So it seems like there will be some variety. And there's all sorts of cool stuff they could do with that, because Thousand Suns are famously, there's like a lot of psychers and stuff there that use what are basically magic abilities. And so to go from this, where it's all melee, close combat fighting, and then to go up and fight some Thousand Suns or Chaos, Space Marine, whatever, that could be really interesting to see how that shifts and alters your approach. Now, one thing we didn't really get to see a lot of was stuff about the co-op mode. They couldn't really talk about this. So I'm actually going to let this play, and we're going to find out together what they said about the co-op mode in this gameplay overview trailer they just dropped.
Your duty is not yet done.
Beyond the story campaign, you'll find Operations Mode. Here, the focus is beyond the story campaign, you'll find Operations Mode.
So, PvE missions, Operations Campaign, Eternal War. They have quick match. They have 6 different operations. This might be something you unlock it as you go through the game. Maybe you unlock a replay, basically, or new levels or new operations in levels you've already completed. Maybe that's how they do it. This one, a swarm of Tyranids threatens the astropathic relay on Avarax. Their path will take them across a bridge that can be rigged for detonation. Time the blast carefully to eliminate the Hive Tyrant leading the swarm. Slay the Hive Tyrant and deploy charges on the bridge supports. You get 630 XP and 30 of whatever currency they're using. So you can work together to grind through that. Okay.
Here, the focus is on cooperation and replayability. Play as one of 6 classes with unique skills and ability.
Oh.
Play as one of 6...
Tactical, Assault, Vanguard, Bulwark, Sniper, and Heavy. Assault with a big-ass hammer. Vanguard, Sniper, Heavy. Oh, man. I'm into this.
6 classes with unique skills and abilities. The Emperor provides. Then
Oh.
develop and customize them to make them your own.
Okay, these cosmetics look pretty baller too. I'm just gonna say these are some swifty skins. So it seems like, looking at this, I'm guessing this is the currency you use to purchase cosmetics. That's the same currency you were earning by completing missions. So if that's the case, and it's actually placed in here where you can buy a good amount of cosmetics without having to pay any money for microtransactions, I'm down for that. Because I'm just assuming there will be, you know, you can buy the currency or something.
Then develop.
Did they fan over it and show how much any of these were? I mean, that's a lot of skins. Custom armor sets, Astartes chapters. They got a lot, man. They got a lot.
Then develop and customize them to make them your own. Whether you prefer the Sniper's stealth cloak and long-range capabilities, the Vanguard's grapnel launcher, or the Bulwark's chapter banner and storm shield combination, your Space Marine specialty, along with those of your squad mates, will be decisive on the battlefield. The more missions you play, the more you'll unlock cosmetics for your Space Marine. You'll also earn XP and armory data that you can spend in the Battle Barge's armory.
Oh, armory data. That seems to be the currency. Okay. Then there's like a crafting component or something up here, so you can craft and upgrade the weapons that you get as you go through. Let's see. All squad members deal 50% more gun strike damage. Okay. Okay.
Armory to unlock new class perks and improve your armament's performance.
Eternal War demands
Versus
eternal
mode.
discipline.
This is the one where I could see it being problematic if you can buy some of that data currency to be able to purchase. Well, if it's just skins, you purchase that, that's fine. If you purchase like armory upgrades and things like that, that could be problematic.
If you're into more competitive challenges, well then you're in for a treat. Enter the fray in our Eternal War mode, where you'll be able to pit yourselves against other players. 6 Space Marines clash against 6 of their sworn Chaos adversaries in arenas inspired by the game's rich settings. Choose your preferred rule set, be it the intense Annihilation Deathmatch, strategic Seize Ground, or the exhilarating Capture and Control. Then engage in adrenaline-pumping matches that will test your skills against players from across the world. Each skirmish offers you the chance to earn more XP and add more weapons to your arsenal as you prove your valor on the battlefield. That's all just a taste of what is to come. We can't wait for you to experience the passion and care that our teams have poured into this game. We've got more surprises in store for you, to be revealed very soon.
In his name I will fight! For the Emperor!
I mean, come on. Right? Right? I mean, it's going to be really interesting because this type of game doesn't exist a whole lot anymore, where they do like a single player combined with a multiplayer. That used to be the standard, again, in like the 360 era, where, yeah, just toss a multiplayer mode in, whatever, sure. And a lot of time those ended up being pretty fun. But that kind of stopped and we started only getting multiplayer or only single player. And you know, it's probably just because it's way more difficult to make online games now than it ever has been before, because they're way more complicated. But it's cool to see this kind of old school approach to it. But I'm hopeful that the old school approach will be refreshing for some people that are just burnt out on the current way of doing things. So I get the vibe they've got a lot more to show, because they're doing little hints here and there. We see like the Hell Brutes. We see, I'm trying to see what this guy is. Oh, is he a dreadnought? I don't think it's a knight. I don't think it's big enough to be a knight, but it might be a dreadnought. They got a lot of stuff here. It seems like there's going to be a lot of content. So I think this one has a lot of potential. It's one of those things where I'm like, it's important to disclose our biases, right? Because we all have games that we are disproportionately excited for various reasons. Like if you love Fallout, chances are when another Fallout game comes out, it might get a +1 to the Metacritic for you personally, just because that's how much you love the Fallout franchise. Or for me, like I love ships, or I love ancient Egypt, as you can see there. I love that stuff. So if a game involves that stuff, it's probably a +1 for me, just because that's one of my biases. And Warhammer is one of those where I just automatically am interested if you say it's a Warhammer thing. You know, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm paying attention. Let's see. And so it looks pretty good. Now, one of the other things that's interesting about this is that it has gone through a wave of delays. Originally, in June 23, it was confirmed the campaign would feature a 3-player co-op with either other players or AI. It was additionally revealed that the game was set for winter 2023 release. And then a gameplay trailer was released at the end of August, as well as confirmation that there would be a beta release. In September of 23, Games Workshop released a board game based on the game, which includes a miniature model of Titus. In November, Games Workshop and Weta Workshop revealed several statuettes in the works, one of them being a statue of Titus with interchangeable weapons and heads. It was originally scheduled for winter 2023, but it was eventually delayed to September of 24. And this is one of those things. These models are awesome, by the way. Ridiculous levels of detail. Do they have the full? This is like a collector's dream. They got like the Weta Workshop team to come in and work on it. It's outrageous. But with this stuff, like normally you'd hear about a cancellation or something, and or not a cancel, a delay, and you'd be like, oh God, is it having troubles? But in this case, it seems that the delay was literally just for polish and adding content. It seems like they were like confident about it, and then they revealed it and people ate it up and loved it. And so they then went, ooh, okay, maybe we should like double down on this. We should put all of our eggs in the basket. We should really pour everything we've got into it. And they worked their butts off, and it seems like it's potentially paying off. I mean, they've really I think struck a chord with the core fan base, and it seems like it might even appeal to some of those like Helldivers players that are looking for a fresh fix or something like that, which is cool to see. But yeah, all these little models and stuff. This is how you get a Warhammer fan like Gideon. Super excited. Show them all the minis and models and stuff. So yeah, Space Marine 2, one to keep an eye on. I think it's got a lot of potential. I'm excited to see how it comes together in the final few months. They've posted these like behind the scenes trailers as well. They just did this a few hours ago, and they show even more sequences like this one you see, flying through space debris. I don't think technically it's space debris. I think the whole like platform's falling and collapsing. But again, they just keep showing more and more and more, and it's like, oh, so you got even more that you guys are waiting to reveal. I get the vibe this is not one of those games where they are showing everything. It looks like they've got a lot of stuff that they're only showing little bitty snippets of, and then most people are going to see that in the final release. Honest, like, predictions, probably like an 8 out of 10 type game. That's probably where this lands. Maybe even like 7 out of 10. Just depends on who reviews it. But I think for Warhammer fans especially, they're going to gobble it up. That's my guess. They got the display cases with their Warhammer armies behind them. Dead giveaway. Dead giveaway. I know a Warhammer display case when I see it. Sure do. Sure do. But I mean, you can tell they've really focused on polish. They've done a lot of work here. It's pretty crazy. So I'll stop gushing, but that's one to keep an eye on.
He took my thing.